Good morning. It's Friday the 28th of August and it's time for Boris's Best of British Bulletin. Boris Johnson went on holiday to Scotland. He booked a remote 3-bedroom cottage for himself, Wilfred, Carrie and their dog. Whilst there, he pitched a tent in a neighbouring field and lit campfires there without permission from the landowner. Still, it's hardly like English people ever come uninvited to Scotland and act like they own the place now, is it? The tent was overlooking a cliff edge. But Boris is used to that, spending most of his days staring at cliff edges. Brexit, the Union. But Boris sadly had to go back to number 10 after 3 days, when the Daily Mail found out where he was and took photos. Boris's supporters predictably blamed the SNP for ruining his holiday, not the Tory and Brexit supporting newspaper that tracked him down and published his fucking picture. No, it's the SNP, and predictably the not local at all MP Ian Blackford. In other news, the FBI have submitted an extradition request for Ian Blackford. Apparently, the Warren Commission want to know where he was when Kennedy was shot. Yes, our Boris, the man who is supposed to be organising Brexit and our COVID-19 response, can't even organise a family holiday. How reassuring. Meanwhile, Nicola Sturgeon has not had a single day off since the pandemic began. Not one. Not even her 50th birthday, which was also a Sunday. In more Boris and Nicola news, it seems that Boris is taking lessons on how to run a country from Nicola Sturgeon. He has followed Scotland into lockdown, followed us into exam result U-turns, and now followed us into making school pupils wear face masks in secondary schools. I welcome Boris following our leader, as she is a competent and steady hand. And if Boris keeps following our Nicola, he'll soon end up campaigning for Scottish independence. I can't wait to go canvassing with him. The Ofqual exam regulator resigned on Tuesday. She had the temerity to do exactly what her boss told her to do. She was criticised by her boss, the Education Secretary, for doing exactly what he told her to do, and has quit following said criticism, while her boss remains in post. Following that, Boris Johnson fired the Permanent Secretary for Education over the same issue, while the actual Education Secretary, all too predictably, remains firmly in post. Meanwhile, in Scotland, the head of the equivalent body, the SQA, remains in post. That's because her boss manned the fuck up, fixed the mistake, and accepted responsibility, as it should be. In more schools news, Boris Johnson visited a school on Wednesday to make an announcement. The PM's lectern was placed in the school library where someone, either a teacher, librarian or pupil, has very subtly but mercilessly trolled him. In this strange new world of virtual interviews and buffering live streams, politicians might think that a backdrop of bookshelves makes help them look credible, But the books on display behind Boris Johnson during his speech at an East Midlands school suggested that the librarian, or perhaps a disgruntled English teacher, had other ideas. Lining the shelf behind Mr. Johnson's heads were titles with rather unflattering associations for any political leader, including The Twits, The Subtle Knife, The Resistance, and Betrayed. And sticking out like a sore thumb was Fahrenheit 451, a dystopian novel about a society where books are banned. If you look closely, Guards, a Terry Pratchett novel, can also be glimpsed behind the PM's right shoulder. The story follows a plot by a secret brotherhood to overthrow a corrupt leader and install a puppet king. And could Dickens' Oliver Twist, famous for its heartbreaking line, "Please, sir, can I have some more?" have been tactfully placed on Boris's left to remind us of the government's free school meals U-turn brought about by football star Marcus Rashford. Moving on, it's Proms season, and Boris is up in arms about some songs being missed from the last night of the Proms. Instrumental versions of Rule Britannia and Land of Hope and Glory will be played, instead of the usual sung out loud versions. Boris said, I think it's time we stopped our cringing embarrassment about our history, about our traditions, about our culture, and we stopped this general fight of self-recrimination and wetness. Bravo, Boris. Well said, sir. Except the real reason the songs aren't being sung is that there won't be a live audience to sing them back. The reason for that is well known, and with competent leadership, we probably could have had that live audience. I'm actually more cringingly embarrassed about our present than our past, in large part because we are led by such incompetent idiots. But surprisingly, I'd actually like to see the song return, as it will become really cringingly embarrassing for the likes of Boris Johnson to sing it as the union crumbles around him. Conservative MP Hugh Merriman says he thinks the government needs to get a grip of our scientists. He says, I'm sick and tired, and I think many in the public are sick and tired. The science just changes. Yes, that's it, scientists. Listen to the politician and stop inconveniently discovering new information. How dare you? Conservative MP Andrew Bowie recently tweeted that he was unhappy about the local recent lockdown in Aberdeen, which was partly attributed to pubs not enforcing social distancing rules. As the lockdown has been lifted, Andrew Bowie decided to support local business and go out for a pint in Aberdeen with two of his chums. Nothing wrong with that. But Andrew Bowie then chose to tweet a photo of himself enjoying said pint with said mates, with his trademark shit-eating grin alongside his two chums and clearly not following the social distancing rules. As if that wasn't ironic enough, the text which went along with Andrew Bowie's tweet read, "Great to be back in an Aberdeen pub, sadly spoilt by the company of these two, smiley. Let's not let Aberdeen down again. Follow the rules and enjoy summer safely." All the while, Andrew Bowie was simultaneously letting Aberdeen down, breaking the rules and enjoying summer unsafely. But finally, this is usually a light-hearted look at the week's news. But this next bit is totally not joke-worthy. The UK government actually plumbed a new low this week. As I'm sure we all remember, the Health Secretary, Matt Hancock, made much of the fact that £60,000 in compensation would be awarded to families of health and care workers who died from COVID-19. And while no amount of money can replace a lost loved one, we all agreed that this was a compassionate response. But it turns out that low-income families who have been awarded the lump sum have been stripped of their benefits. So if you're a high-income family who loses a care sector family member to COVID-19, you get the £60,000 and keep all of it. But if you're a low-income family getting benefits from the state, the payment will mean your benefit is stopped. How's that for levelling up Britain? Now folks, this might sound like a mad episode of The New Statesman, but it is just 1 week. Just another painfully normal week in Tory Britain. So, are you yes yet? Folks, please feel free to comment on the Facebook page. Keep it civil, impersonal, let's not be insulting each other. Unionists are welcome on the page. I welcome dissent and opinion and comment, but play nicely. Thanks very much, Davey PhD.